raised his cap. "Monsieur Paul Delroze," he said, "I am the keeper at the chateau." He had a powerful, open face, a skin hardened by exposure to the sun and the cold, hair that was already turning gray, and that rather uncouth manner often displayed by old servants whose place allows them a certain degree of independence. For 17 years he had lived on the great estate of Ornequin above Corvigny and managed it for Élisabeth's father, the Comte d'Andeville. "Ah, so you're Jérôme," cried Paul. "Good. I see you had the Comte d'Andeville's letter. Have our servants come?" "They arrived this morning, sir, the 3 of them, and they have been helping my wife and me to tidy up the house and make it ready to receive the master and the mistress." He took off his cap again to Élisabeth, who said: "Then you remember me, Jérôme? It is so long since I was here." "Mademoiselle Élisabeth was 4 years old then. It was a real sorrow for my wife and me when we heard that you would not come back to the house, nor Monsieur le Comte either, because of his poor dead wife. So Monsieur le Comte does not mean to pay us a little visit this year?" "No, Jérôme, I don't think so. Though it is so many years ago, my father is still very unhappy." Jérôme took the bags and placed them in a fly which he had ordered at Corvigny. The heavy luggage was to follow in the farm cart. It was a fine day and Paul told them to lower the hood. Then he and his wife took their seats. "It's not a very long drive," said the keeper, "under 10 miles. But it's uphill all the way." "Is the house more or less fit to live in?" asked Paul. "Well, it's not like a house that has been lived in. But you'll see for yourself, sir. We've done the best we could. My wife is so pleased that you and the mistress are coming. You'll find her waiting for her at the foot of the steps. I told her that you would be there between 6:30 and 7." The fly drove off. "He seems a decent sort of man," said Paul to Élisabeth, "but he can't have much opportunity for talking. He's making up for lost time." The street climbed the steep slope of the Corvigny hills and constituted, between 2 rows of shops, hotels and public buildings, the main artery of the town, blocked on this day with unaccustomed traffic. Then it dipped and skirted Vauban's ancient bastions. Next came a switchback road across a plain commanded on the right and left by the 2 forts known as the Petit and the Grand Jonas. As they drove along this winding road, which meandered through fields of oats and wheat beneath the leafy vault formed overhead by the close-ranked poplars, Paul Delroze came back to the episode of his childhood which he had promised to tell to Élisabeth. "As I said, Élisabeth, the incident is connected with a terrible tragedy, so closely connected that the 2 form only one episode in my memory. The tragedy was much talked about at the time, and your father, who was a friend of my father's, as you know, heard of it through the newspapers. The reason why he did not mention it to you was that I asked him not to, because I wanted to be the first to tell you of events so painful to myself." Their hands met and clasped. He knew that every one of his words would find a ready listener, and after a brief pause he continued: "My father was one of those men who compel the sympathy and even the affection of all who know them. He had a generous, enthusiastic, attractive nature and an unfailing good humor, took a passionate interest in any fine cause and any fine spectacle, loved life and enjoyed it with a sort of precipitate haste. He enlisted in 1870 as a volunteer, earned his lieutenant's commission on the battlefield and found the soldier's heroic existence so well suited to his tastes that he volunteered a 2nd time for Tonkin and a 3rd time to take part in the conquest of Madagascar. On his return from this campaign, in which he was promoted to captain and received the Legion of Honor, he married. 6 years later, he was a widower." "You were like me, Paul," said Élisabeth. "You hardly enjoyed the happiness of knowing your mother." "No, for I was only 4 years old. But my father, who felt my mother's death most cruelly, bestowed all his affection upon me. He made a point of personally giving me my early education. He left nothing undone to perfect my physical training and to make a strong and plucky lad of me. I loved him with all my heart. To this day I cannot think of him without genuine emotion.